Great morning, folks, or afternoon, depending on the time of day you're consuming this. It's always a blessing. Always a blessing to be here, and it does not get taken for granted. Hello, hello, hello. Here, Facebook checking in, Facebook checking in, Facebook checking in. We are just recapping. We're recapping an incredible week where we broke down the difference, where we are breaking down. We're breaking down the difference between believing and believing in someone, something, a process. That's what we're talking about today. So let me just make sure we're good. Facebook is already shared out. Let me just open up YouTube and make sure we're on and popping for the recap. This is the recap, baby. Forgive me if I'm a little energetic right now. I'm super pumped because believe it or not, you see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily a technology. I'm not a technology guy. All right. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm not a technology guy like that. I really know how certain things work. So I am been monetized on YouTube for roughly about a year now, maybe a little bit over a year now. And I literally just learned how to turn on the super chat. Turn on the super chat membership and all sorts of things. So again, it's like I was telling my girl just yesterday. It's like if I would have known how to do it back when I first got monetized on YouTube, maybe my systems and the process and everything I'm about wouldn't be as concrete, wouldn't be as cohesive, and my alignment and all that stuff, my delivery isn't as concrete and crisp as it is now. So that's why it's a matter of me learning what I got to learn right now. So all that being said, let me just introduce myself to anybody that's new to this channel. First and foremost, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share all of this out. We do this every day, multiple times a day. We bring it, and we're just like a blink, a hop, a skip, just feeling football season coming back. Right? You can smell it in the air. College football, NFL football is back. It's back, baby. Oh, I got a lot of energy, period. But when we get through those months, man, when we get to those feelings and that it starts coming, it's like, okay, it's time to get our minds right. It's time to get our mind right. So let me just introduce myself real quick to anybody that's new to this world, new to my world. My name, it is Aswand Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, very soon to be 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole framework, this whole mindset, this whole philosophy, this whole system that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and aligning them with businesses and business owners so they have a staff and a group of staff and or a group of employees that moves as efficiently as a championship high school or youth football team. That is what happens over here in the Move Swiftly platform. Before I get started on today's topic, or basically first of all, let me just give you a briefing real quick. What we're going to be discussing is recapping everything that we went through from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. What we did on Make It Move Monday, what we did on Top 5 Tuesday, and what we did on Trapreneur Wednesday. We're going to recap all of that and send you guys out of here, get you guys out of here in the around the 30-minute mark, so you all can actually apply the stuff that you learn on this channel. You know, that's what I actually have decided to do as we move forward, as I'm keeping these under 35 minutes so you can take the lessons that I'm giving you and you can actually apply the stuff for yourself and make it so your business moves a whole lot more efficiently. We are all about innovative teamwork here, and I will do my job. I promise you I will do my job, and I'll deliver the quality content for you. But at some point you got to apply. You have got to apply. You can't just sit on YouTube all day and expect all your problems to go away. All right. So first and foremost, let me get through some announcements and we'll get through right to the recap. All right. If you are a business owner and you have not yet, make sure you go to freeguide.makeitmove.com. That is free. You heard me correctly, folks. It's freeguide.makeitmove.com. You are simply putting in your information and you'll get a 10-step process on how to create more cohesion within your organization right now. We work from a very, very simple formula here. It's number one, you got to establish measurables plus a professional distance. All right, those are the two. Measurables, a professional distance, that will equal your productive environment. You need that productive environment if you're going to get anywhere, if you're going to get, excuse me, if you could even get close to anywhere where you're trying to get to. Those are the results you need. That's the process and the formula. There's no other blueprint. All right. Next thing, if you are in the West Palm Beach area, West Palm Beach, Florida, stand up. Oh man, it is, and it doesn't get old. I'm telling you, I make these announcements every day, and when I see this couple, this David and Vanessa, they were members. I used to be a trainer at a gym called 9 Round. They were members when they were just dating, and now they're married with a son. And to see that picture, to see them, her, strapping up his gloves, because she was a member actually, and I started doing training at the park and all that, and then he started coming with her. So to see, because I still follow her on Instagram and him and all that, and I see how their son is growing and stuff like that, it is truly, truly rewarding. It does not get old when I see that, see that element. So I'm doing the same thing out here in West Palm Beach. In fact, I have a better boxing gym to work with and stuff like that. But I do free boxing lessons every 2 weeks. If you are interested in that, this is what you're going to be looking like. This is kind of how we roll here. Again, I'm just going to learn. I'm going to teach you the basics. And as I grow with the Palm Beach boxing gym, we're going to start really developing our own classes and getting the ring and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, then again, there's a huge correlation between your business and developing a proper fitness routine, and boxing specifically leads to concentration, the hand-eye coordination, just the way you're able to focus. As you can see, she's jab, cross. You see the focus that she has. All of that is going to help you in your business stay more focused. If you're interested in that, just make sure you message me, or you simply click these links, whatever times. These are the times I'm usually going to be available to do a free session with you, and we can kind of go from there, give you all your options. Now, you are my kind of folk, the kind of folk we love around here, the folk that say, look, bump all that free stuff. Let me know what I got to pay for. I love you guys. Straight up. I love you guys. I am not going to lie to you. The folks who are like, look, I'm tired of turnover. I'm tired of not having a staff that is cohesive. I'm tired of constantly losing money because I'm replacing this one, I'm replacing that one. Then just simply bump all the free stuff. Go to makeyourmove.com. Ask about our employee development workshops. You can go to shop. You can buy a couple copies of the book. You can do whatever research you need to do your research on me. You can do it right there on makeyourmove.com. You can figure out a payment plan to get me out to your organization so we can get you going. You can have your staff move with the same energy I move with. I teach that. That's what I teach now. This is what I do. All right. Just simply, more research on me, it's just Move Swiftly Speaker, and go to Innovative Teamwork, so you can like this right here is where you need to go. This is the result of what you're going to get when you work with me. All right. So turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you've just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there is no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book your meeting with Aswand, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. All of that available on makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. Whew. All right, so let's get into it. This week, this entire week, and I'll kind of recap because I spoke about it on Monday. We'll recap it a little bit. Get a sip of water. Started off with a question that I had this question, and this is kind of what sparked off. Now, just so we're clear, the way I come up with these topics, the way I come up with the theme, I usually have the theme in my head weeks before it actually makes it to YouTube and makes it to, like, once I write it out and I'm able to speak on it because it's something I thought of. And it was weeks before. So 2 weeks ago, me and my girl, we went to St. Augustine for July 4th. And the week prior, we were hanging out. And again, and this is something I was just talking to her about. I was talking to my mother about this as well. I call her, yes, she is my girlfriend. We are seeing each other, but for the most part, the relationship is very mature. It's more of a partnership. There are times where we could just, like, I would refer to her because as a business owner, the people that I'm looking to serve every day, you have to treat people with a level of respect. You have to treat your employees with a certain amount of distance. You have to understand, look, this is what this person's been through. This is what I've been through. This is what I'm hoping to get out of my business and my life. Like, this whole concept, this whole idea of, oh, don't take it personal, it's just business, that never applies to me. So when I bring her up, it's really about more so, I'm not clout chasing, or I'm not trying to make it about a kind of a lovey-dovey relationship type of a show. Like, this is a business platform where I'm teaching you as business owners how to build out a solid team. And the truth is, and I forgot to mention this yesterday, I'll just tell you now, this guy, Jim Weber, the guy who I talked about yesterday in terms of the one who turned Brooks around. If you go on YouTube and you listen to some of the podcasts that he was on and what he talked about when he was getting his MBA and he was developing in business, he put out a stat saying that the most successful people in the MBA program were the ones who were actually married. All right. So when I talk about her, I explain it to you because I'm more so giving you the things that have changed in my life in terms of just being in a relationship with a mature person who can have adult conversations, and you start to feel yourself growing and getting better, not because of anything necessarily physical, but more so because of the intellect and the intellectual things. These are the same kind of relationships that you're going to have to build in the workplace. All right. So when I brought it up, I had kind of posed a question to her maybe about a week or two ago. Hey, what's the difference between, and this is just how we communicate because it's random as hell. And, if you guys know me, my mind is working like clockwork all the time, right? So I asked her, I say, hey, what's the difference between believing someone and believing in someone? And I never actually got an answer from her, not a verbal answer. I more so got an answer based on her action, right? So again, we live out here in South Florida, and we were on our way. We were on our way to St. Augustine, and she put the question out there. Again, 6-time published author, and she put the question out there as we were on our way. She goes, "Hey, yeah, here it is, right here." She says, "Have you ever thought about teaching at a college?" Now, I myself, again, the first job I've had out of college was that of a college scout. The reason I don't go and get teaching certifications, or I don't look to go and try to be some, teacher and get certified and all that other stuff the reason I really never wanted to be in the education world in itself, because I wanted to kind of work around I wanted to work around having to get certified. So as I was developing as a fitness consultant and as a seller for the Miami Dolphins Foundation, this is when I first got to South Florida, I put out my first book swiftly because the plan is to use my books as leverage to work with multiple colleges and multiple schools. So the fact that she asked that without me even bringing it up, it told me indirectly, hey, this is a person that believes in you, not just believes some bullshit you say, not just believes some pipe dream that you're telling her, oh, you're gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you, baby. No, fuck. Listen, she believes in the work you do, and that can come from a boss, that can come from a friend, that belief in a person could come from many different facets. It just, again, it so happens that we're in a romantic relationship, and that's the way. So see, that's the problem with a lot of relationships. The problem with a lot of folks who find themselves in situations where they're with people that don't believe in them. They can believe what they say, but the question has to become, now, do you believe in me? And you can't answer the question of believing in a person with words. You can't answer that question with plans. You can't answer that question in just, just typical talking bullshit. You have to answer that question in action, in action that you didn't even know. I'm telling you right now, she was on YouTube looking at me explain that, or listening to me explain this on Monday, and she didn't even realize that just the asking of the question of me working with the college was a sign or something that signified to me that she believed in me. See, that's the difference. You shouldn't be changing your personality. You shouldn't be trying to appease another person because of what they can possibly do to you. You should be continuously being yourself, walking in faith, developing your relationship with God first, always developing a relationship with God first. And then who's ever with you for that ride is with you for that ride. But if that person is not with you for that ride, as you are developing your walk of faith and you're walking in your truth and you're walking and you're grinding, doing what you got to do, if that person is not doing it with you, then you got to move on. You got to move on quickly. All right. And you can move on quickly because you're so focused on the work you're doing. That's the point. That's the thing. Those are the things that signify when a person believes in you. Right. So as we broke all that down, like I said, struck a chord. I'm reading directly now from the article for my podcast listeners, the article of Make Your Move Monday, what/who do you believe in? And as I answer the question, I'm going to read the answer to the question out loud now. My answer is, I believe in action. Hear me. I believe in action. I believe in action. So now to answer the question, I believe in action. Words, they fade. Plans, they shift. But action, that's measurable. That's truth. Go back to what we talked about at the beginning for the announcements, right? Establishing measurables. Action, that's measurable. Action, measurables. You want to build a solid organization, your measurables have to be absolutely diabolically detailed about the measurables and the things that a person is to do every single day, where they need to be, what the execution of the thing is. That is it. Measurables are absolutely the most important thing you can start to at least have a start. Measurables, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, action is the only true indicator of where someone stands at what they value. Watch what people do, not what they say they'll do. All right. That's where the truth lies. And if you want to become someone others believe in, you have to be in motion. If you want to be that person that somebody believes in, a total stranger believes in, you got to be walking in motion. All right. That has to be something you're continuously pursuing. You have to be building something, and you have to be taking the steps to get there. That's why I believe in the process-oriented mindset. This week, we'll be unpacking exactly what that looks like on Top 5 Tuesday. Right. So that was Monday. That's what we discussed Monday. So after Monday, went to Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 Tuesday, a staple. All right, in terms of what we do over here on the Move Swiftly platform. Top 5 Tuesday, every single Tuesday for over a year, we're breaking down the top 5 things, top 5 of something that is going on. Most of the time, it is based on the theme of the week, but there are times where some current event is going on, like when the election was going on. Let me see if I think I still have it. I saw the thumbnail. So as the election was going on, right here, I had to think top 5 moves I'd make if I was a politician, because I was getting so into the political game and stuff like that. So it was, and then I had top 5. Let me see if I can find. Let me move this real quick. It was top 5 reasons history lessons ought to be relatives. That's Marshall Monte. You see my sister right there. That's my nephew, the books I have. And then Marshall Monte, I was the MC for a family reunion last summer. So top 5 is always a good day, always a good time in terms of what I'm going to come up with. I had this one, top 5 ways. What was that? Top five ways to align your personal and your professional life. So every week, Tuesday, something's coming up, right? That's why, again, I'm constantly clockwork. I live on this platform. I live on the end. Like when I say I live on, that doesn't mean I'm scrolling all day. I'm like literally living on the platform, living and expressing to you guys the way I think, my personal, all of this stuff comes out virtually now because I've been doing it for so long, and I've gotten to a point where now the system is working harder than I am, which is the way it should be. All right, go back and look up when I talked. I had a whole week where your system, as a matter of fact, let's see if I could find all that. Like it's because I like all of Sports Commission. I believe I have it somewhere, but again, all this stuff is, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because all this stuff is all on YouTube on this channel and all that. So anyway, it's enough. It's enough backstory now. Top 5 Tuesday of this week. We broke down the top 5 ways how to know if you believe in a person or a thing. All right. Pretty much saying how to know if you're believing in action, how to know if you're on the right track in terms of action, and are you making sure you're believing in a person's action. How exactly do we do that? All right, there's 5 things you have to do. There's 5 ways to do it. Number 1 is you look at the way a person uses their leisure time. Are they being productive during their leisure time? Tells you everything. Case in point. All right, and I use the example Tuesday is when I was at a Duffy Sports Bar back when it was the exact time when TikTok went down, and the Duffy Sports manager was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do with all my free time? How am I going to waste time now?" Now, again, she was being tongue in cheek when she said that, but I compared it to a person like a coach Nick Saban, legendary coach Nick Saban, who's retired now, where there was like decades in which he ran college football, and there were tons of documentaries on him and stuff like that. And I noticed, because I played college football, I noticed that when he was on the plane, he had his laptop open, film clicker, making sure he's looking at recruits, making sure he's looking at certain plays, looking at what guys are doing. So his leisure time on a plane was spent doing what? Getting work in. All right. So that's number 1. How do you use your leisure time? Number 2 was you do not force connections. All right. Do not force connections. You are so confident in the things you do and what you're going to provide for the world that you're not looking to force a connection with anybody. You would be happy to work with people that see your vision and you guys align and create some win-win opportunities. However, you're not going to go force a connection with somebody because you think that having a connection with them is just going to help you. All right. I use the specific term. Networking is intentional. Ass kissing is manipulative. All right. Let me say it again. Networking is intentional. Ass kissing is manipulative. When you start kissing people's ass, that's you being manipulative. That's you trying to manipulate a person. That's manipulation. That is wrong. All right. Intentional networking, going up to someone, shaking their hand, looking them in the face and say, "This is what I do. This is what you do. I'd love to connect. I'd love to be a part of the mission. I love what you got going on." Boom, move, keep it moving. That's how you connect with people on more a high level versus the ass kissing element, which I see a lot of, and a lot of people get it wrong. So that's number 2. Number 3, people, again, when you believe in a person, they don't have a lot of close friends, but they know a lot of people. All right. I'm going to read it directly so you guys understand what I'm saying. They have few close friends, but know a lot of people. When you believe in someone, it's because you know they aren't distracted by shallow popularity. Real belief comes from intimacy, not visibility. There's a big difference between having 5,000 LinkedIn connections and 5 people who will move mountains for you. Your inner circle should be made up of people who feel more like family than friends. And if you're watching someone who keeps their tribe tight and intentional, that's someone to believe in. That's the person right there. They keep their tribe nice and tight. They don't need to be around and cloud chasing and knowing a lot of people. I know this, but I know that. But that's some high school bullshit. All right. We're talking about folks who are keeping it nice and where it needs to be because they have the confidence to stand on their own. That's what it's all about. All right. That was number 3. So number 4, there's consistency in terms of the way a person speaks and what they talk about. They're always talking about what's next. What's the next thing? What does the future look like? How am I going to build on this? How am I going to do this? This happened, so how am I going to do this? It's a constant dialogue with this person, to a point where you first meet them and they're always already on what the next thing is and how they're going to get there. So number 4 and number 5 is you admire those who've been there. Right? You admire those who've been there, and that right there, I'm going to take you right into Wintrapreneur Wednesday, which was what we talked about yesterday, because this book is absolutely one of my favorites. Again, it's highlighted. I remember reading it and I was taking tons of pictures. Like, good man. I mean, I was so happy that running position. Right. They have some incredible graphs that me as a runner, I was absolutely participants, why they ran, one working single, one working. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, I enjoyed it. I know we're I'm gonna cut it off about 30 minutes here, but that's the beautiful thing about a great book is, it was maybe about a year ago when I read this, and then rereading it and going back to some of the points that I highlighted, I really got back into it. And the reason Wintrapreneur Wednesday. So again, Top 5 Tuesday. That was Top 5 Tuesday. Again, go look it up. I spoke in depth about it. But yesterday, Wintrapreneur Wednesday was all about what happened on our way back from St. Augustine to South Florida. I didn't want to go. To the outlets. I'm just, kind of cheap like that. I hate shopping for clothes, but I was glad I did, because I did get a pair of running shoes that I knew I needed, but I was just procrastinating and not wanting to spend the money for them. But I found a good deal on these Brooks shoes that I'm wearing now. And it literally, as I was making the purchase and I was thinking about what Wintrapreneur Wednesday is going to be, I'm like, I got to talk about my guy, Jim Weber. Because when I purchased that pair of Brooks, it brought me back to all of this and everything. And this was years. I was doing like 5K. I was at a different 5K every week. And I was really wanting to become a sponsor, like an endorsed, sponsored runner and all that kind of stuff. So when I realized that he built the brand, he researched the brand based on strictly having runners. And then you look at the numbers, and matter of fact, let me just go to it. What page was it? Page 49. Page 49. My favorite excerpts is from chapter 3, titled Running Only. On this page, Weber states, to address the market, you need all price points to go from $30 to $150 or more per pair. No major brand had ever just focused on one segment. Our bold announcement about premium running did not sound smart to the industry. So pretty much he created this concept. I don't want to say created, but he emphasized the concept and the understanding of margins. All right. Margins, meaning he could charge more. He could charge more for a shoe because he's spending less than Nike and Under Armour and Adidas on marketing, to where they're not really focused on folks that are just wearing casual stuff. They're going to charge more for the running shoe and focus a premium on running. So when people buy a running shoe, they're getting more in the profits, versus if it's Nike and somebody buys a running shoe, well, there's some marketing dollars that went towards ads and marketing dollars that went towards a bunch of other things. So yeah, their prices, they might be spending a certain amount, or their profits might be the same. But when it comes to how much Nike might have spent or an Under Armour might have spent on marketing, it's a fraction of what Brooks had to spend. So in terms of what's coming in, you start to see the difference. Again, go look this stuff up yourself, because this is just a recap episode. I won't do a deep dive on it. If you are, however, interested in diving deeper into my world, because this is what we break down over here in the Move Swiftly world. We, as promised, I tell you every single morning, we take the innovative teamwork lessons that are learned on that football field. And there's a ton of them, more than I ever even knew, that I'm learning more as I go. There's more of that as we go, and we apply them to businesses day in and day out. So if you're interested in more of that stuff and doing more of a deeper dive in that stuff, the main website is right there on the screen. It is makeyamove.com. That is MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. Everyone out there, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.